Hello, gorgeous ones. How are we tonight? So just take a moment while you all hop on. Smudge my cards. Come into center. Beautiful. It's been quite an interesting few days, hasn't it, Blossoms? So, how are you all doing? Hello, Amanda. How are you? Hello, Tia. Oh, I'm a fellow Queenslander. How are you? So I just wanted to, before I got into the readings, I want to tell you about a yummy online event that I've got going on over the next 3 days. So I've teamed up with a wonderful lady called Ursula, and she's a yoga and belly dancer and feminine embodiment worker. She's amazing. And also the Nicole Farrier. Now, she's just the loveliest woman, and she's had such an interesting, amazing journey, and she's the queen of knowing self-care and practical health tips and spiritual health tips. So she's really amazing. And myself with my archetypes. So over the next 3 days, it starts tomorrow. In each of our groups, we're hosting in the morning this really beautiful, it goes for an hour to an hour and 15, and it's all about self-love and self-nurturing. And we'll focus tomorrow on the mind, then Sunday, the body, and on Monday, the spirit, so that you have self-love for the mind, the body, and the spirit. Because you have to show love to your entire being and all your energy systems, not just to, put a face mask on. Although that does sound amazing. So I'll be talking about tomorrow the sovereign archetype, and then going in and doing a healing. And then Sunday, I'll be talking about the shapeshifter, which is one of my passionate archetypes I like to talk about, because it's where we really we're so adaptable that we try and morph into other people's ideals instead of being true to ourselves. So tying that into the body is really about how we feel that need to conform to society's standards, and we must, always do things that we don't particularly want, and just feel awful about ourselves, and then go into a healing as well. And then on Monday, I'm talking about the alchemist. Now, my business name is Inner Alchemist, and I do coaching as well, and I do healings, and I do readings, but I mainly coach these days, and I teach people about archetypes, so how they can take their power back when they're triggered. So instead of getting stuck in their self-esteem and low self-esteem and being triggered, their sabotaging patterns, I teach them the archetypes to help shift that patterns, so they can shift into who they want to be. Instead of being stuck down there, I help you get up there and follow your dreams and your purpose. So I really am so excited about this 3-day event. All the details are up in the description. You have to join the 3 groups. So Nicole's for tomorrow, Ursula's for Sunday, and mine for Monday. And it'll be up for 7 days, because we know there's people from different time zones. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. And that's because we do have a couple of American viewers that are in my group, and Ursula's got some from the UK and stuff as well. So it's just being considerate to our international friends. And if you want to rewatch it or catch it, if it's too early, well, then it's up for 7 days, and then it gives you plenty of time to rewatch it. So let's have a look and see what we have got for all of you. So, Kaya, am I saying that in any way correctly? What have we got for you? Oh. Has everyone been feeling a little bit tired and grumpy in the last few days, or just randomly aches and pains? I've had some interesting stories filtering in from my friends. Okay, you have a really lovely reading. The first card indicates to me that you're on shaky ground about something. So when this comes in, the fault line, you've got to imagine walking out on frozen ice. And you know that there's all this frozen water underneath of it and it's cracking beneath your feet. So remember that trembly kind of feeling of like, oh shit, you know, like what decision do I make? Do I run? Do I stand? Do I freeze? Imagine that feeling. So when this card comes through, it tells me that someone's facing a decision and they're really uncertain. Should I do this? Should I do that? And it's like really almost petrified at times of making a decision, because you know if you make the wrong step you could fall through into the icy water, and nobody likes that, you know. So it's, you know, oh, what if I make the wrong decision? So that's kind of the feeling behind that. Your second card is the thread, and your third card is the seed. So that tells me that the thread card is twofold. You have to look for the signs. You have to look for the common thread in things. Ask for a sign. Look for synchronicities. Match the, like say, oh, I've got this idea. Should I do it? And then look for the signs. The other side of this archetype, it's twofold, is to be careful of common patterns. If you have a recurring desire to do something, start a business, create something, swap a job, go for a promotion, have a talk with a family member, like something or other that you're wanting to do, and you keep sabotaging yourself, this card is like, look for that common thread. Why am I doing this? Is it my pattern? Is it my family's pattern? When do I act this way? So this card can be really twofold. You know, you need to look for those signs and synchronicities, and you also look to need within and go, I'm actually doing this. The whole thing is about something creative. This card comes through when people are seeds of change. It's a seeds of thought, something you want to manifest, something you want to do, something you want to build, something you want to grow. It can be also a time when you've got to be really warn yourself not to get overwhelmed with too many creative ideas. Because if you do that and you go in and you try and grow 100 trees and 100 different ideas, none of it's going to manifest and grow. You need to really come in and focus on just a few key elements of the things that you really want to work with and you really want to do. So it's a very creative reading, but it also tells me that you need to be very focused and trust your intuition. And if you have fears and doubts coming up about something, watch that thread. Is it your fears and doubts, or is it something that was blueprinted into you at birth with your children? You're like, when you're a child, and you have to go, well, that's my parents' belief system, and I love them deeply, but I'm a different human being and I'm going my way. Same with religions. Same with, you know, a teacher might have said something or other to you. So sometimes when that comes through, it can be an old story and it's not your current story now. So I hope that made sense. And I hope you're encouraged to just stay focused and really look for those signs for the positive, and also look inside to see if you have anything that needs to be let go of, any old patterns. So I hope that made sense, Blossom. I might just smudge the cards. How are we all doing? Okay. So I was on last night. I took over for Jessica Brown's slot. So it's kind of weird being on for 2 nights, but it's been lovely both nights. I felt like a lot of the people who came last night needed real healing, and it was really quite touching and very moving. It was really beautiful. Okay. Hey Ren, the moon shift, it's been really quite profound for a lot of people, this moon. Wow, Sally, this is another really strong reading. So you have the temple straight up. So this comes through when we need to start honoring our boundaries and honoring our temple, which is our mind, our body, our spirit. It's not just your house. It's not just, building a great foundation. It is mind, body, and spirit. See at the center, you've got your prayer hands radiating out, and then you have, oh, it's in reverse. See that really thick pyramid? So it really indicates boundary work. Where are you giving away your power? Where are you not managing your time? Where are you giving to other people and not receiving? Where are you exhausted? You need to really do some real deep inner work on your boundaries. You have a beautiful initiation card. There's only 8 initiation cards in the deck, and this is one of the nicer ones to get. But it can be a little bit full on if there is lies within your environment. If you're working in a workplace where there's lies, if you have family members that lie, if you lie to yourself, you say everything's okay when it's not. This card is the initiation of truth and wisdom. So you really need to learn what your inner truths are, what are important to you. You need to look at if any lies that you say. I've had people who this card's come up and they were working in kind of a sales environment where you would say the little white lie and they actually couldn't. It made them really uncomfortable. So it's an interesting card. To me, it really feels about you need to step into what you really want to be doing. Now you've got that boundary card, and it's kind of like a assertance of your empowerment, stepping up and going, well, this is actually what I want to do, and you're all going to have to deal with that while I go and learn how to embody all of this, and actually just put your hand up and say, it's my time. And then anything and everything that comes up has to be dealt through. It's all about your truths. So it's a beautiful card. Embrace it. The more you tell yourself the absolute brutal truth, the more you talk with integrity and congruency, and the more you surround yourself with really honest people, the easier you're going to shift through this initiation. You're having the bridging card, which is twofold. This tells me that you have a clear, whoops, here we go again, A to B. So you have a beginning of a journey and an end. You're starting something to get somewhere. But the other side of this archetype is you are the bridge. So this comes forth when you have that ability to help others get from A to B. If people come to you for the advice all the time, oh, this is going on, that's going on, they talk to you, and they're, you're a great listener. Sometimes you sit there going, why are people talking to me about this? This is random. That's because the bridge, the crone, the shaman, and the poet are all bridging cards. They're archetypes that lead people. So they're really good counselors, they're really good teachers, they're really good healers. All of these are natural bridges as well, and what they do is literally transform people into helping them get from A to B. So it's a really beautiful journey into what are your truths and setting boundaries and standing up and going, I'm going to go do this. And you're all going to have to deal with that. It's my time. And really stepping into that. So I get a really positive, exciting vibe from it though. I think you're in for a really interesting time, and embrace that. Remember, assert those boundaries, nourish the mind, the body, and the temple. Good food, good sleep, meditation, exercise. Sounds boring, but they're going to help. Okay. And also smudge, swim, have a bath, get a facial, massage, go for a healing. Anything that's going to support mind, body, and spirit is going to help you with that initiation card. So, did that resonate, Sally? How does that feel? I didn't hear back from my first lady. I had a feeling like she hopped on and then she hopped off. So I hope she actually comes back and listens, because I felt like it was really important. But if it happens, it happens. Let's send a message out for her to come back and check. So let's have a little peek. Oh, I've got, oh, everything's jumping around. So, I'm gonna go with you, Mel Arrowsmith. What a really interesting last name. You go into it with the arrow that, you know, focuses in, and the Smith creates things. Are you a highly focused person, like very driven, Mel? Like likes to get to the point, straight as an arrow? It's very, sometimes names just, I stare at them and I'm like, Okay. Just gonna smudge again. Lots of smudge. I hope I've got enough tonight. Kind of. Sometimes I feel like names have magic. I'd work with your name. And other times I feel like, what were parents thinking? Like if you named your child Mercy, Hope, or Joy, they're archetypes. You know, like, Jesus, you put a lot of potency and pressure into that name, you know? It comes with a frequency all of its own. It's like in the dictionary. Oh, I'm glad, Sally. I go forth and conquer. I really feel like it's your time. Shaki. How do you say that? Shakaya? Did I say that right? That's got a really nice name, like Shakti energy. Oh, that is gorgeous. But it feels powerful too. Beauty is powerful. Ooh, you have a very interesting reading, Mel. You have the Vision card, which is the card of manifestation, and also stepping up and understanding your power at manifesting things. And you have to be careful, because sometimes we say things and we manifest situations and things that we didn't particularly want because we weren't careful with the magic of our words. It's actually very ironic when we're talking about your last name and the magic of words. So vision, like this archetype is really potent. You can hold the vision of what you're wanting to obtain, whether it's a mystical ability, a physical thing, whatever you're wanting. Sometimes it's a business decision. Sometimes it's a, you know, I get this or I get that. The threshold's telling me it's something that you're going to take a leap of faith for. Now, this card comes through when you are like standing on the cliff edge and you're going to dive off. And trust me, people try and tell me, oh, I'm going to just gently step my way down, or they try to avoid it. But no, this card is like literally a leap of faith. It's an initiation, or the willing to be initiated. And sometimes we need to do that. We need to take that action so that we like burst the energy of a block that's in our field and in our minds. So because it's right beside that vision card, if you have been trying to manifest something for a very long time and you are just, scared to do it, or wanting to obtain something and it's just too petrifying, you have a full-on card that you're going to have to deal with. The dead end is literally the dead end. You are hitting a wall. You do not get to go any further. You have to face it. Sometimes as we're going along, we can avoid decisions. We can avoid situations. If something seems too hard, there's a sabotaging pattern inside of us, and you're like, I'm just going to, actually, when I put my hands on my heart just right then, there's huge amounts of energy. So when we have those patterns, we can, avoid them for a while, avoid decisions. But the dead end comes in when there's just no more avoidance. So you have to really face your power as a spiritual, amazing, sovereign being who can co-create your future. So it's really stepping up into the empowerment of that vision card. Pay attention to dreams, pay attention to your intuition. You be hyper vigilant about that vision. Create vision boards. Get on Pinterest and do secret Pinterest boards about whatever you're wanting to move through. Now, it can be multiple things. It can be work, life, family, person, internal. I kind of can't really focus on one. It's like wanting to completely change your life. So take that leap of faith. Stop whatever sabotaging pattern is in there, because there's no more backing away from that dead end energy. Trust me, I've tried in the past. You can't. You're at the, so you just have to face it. But I also get really excited about it, Mel, because you really can't run away anymore. It's quite fascinating, it's just amazing. So I get really excited, even when it's myself these days. A while back ago, I wasn't really that impressed when it came into my field, but these days I'm like, bring it on, bring it on. So I hope that resonated, Blossoms. I'm just going to take a sip of my peppermint tea. Okay. The beautiful Olive. Now there's a nice name. Not only can it be a bit of a salty, fruit, but the olive branch extending it. Multiple meanings behind that name. Really lovely. A little bit salty. I can be a bit salty. You're most welcome, Mel. Do you have an idea of what that dead end represents? Like, I kind of felt like you knew exactly what I was talking about, but at the same time, it kind of felt a bit personal. So you don't have to share if it is personal. But I think it'll be, if it's not already apparent, I don't think it'll be very long before you face that wall. Beautiful Olive. Oh, this card came up a lot yesterday too. I think there's just so many people craving connection. Oh, wow. Oh, this is interesting, Olive. So we have ending a brief relationship. If you've been putting that off, then yes, you can't go any further. It's the wall. So, Olive, the one. This card is that craving to be one with people, the world, the planet, God, the cosmos. It's that feeling where you just really want to be connected deeply to other people and the land and everything, that oneness. It's a beautiful energy. It came up a lot yesterday, so I'm not surprised that it's come up again today, because I think it's like a real yearning for people, and it's very much in the collective as well. So it's that craving of really wanting to connect. I feel like also on a really human level. Normally when that comes through the one, it's cosmic and it's deeply spiritual, and it is that as well for you, but it's also like maybe a craving for more meaningful friendships or more meaningful relationships. Kind of, it's twofold for you. You have the ring. So the ring is all about cycles and repetitive patterns. And it's asking you to break any sabotaging patterns, any negative thoughts. If you've gone into, doubt, inner critic, you give and don't receive enough, like your empaths out of control and in shadow. It's twofold. It's breaking the old repetitive cycles and it's replacing them with healthy new ones. So if you're wanting to build more friendships and deeper connections with the loved ones, and also with spirit and with the land and just everything in general, anything that comes up that's preventing you from doing that needs to really be looked at. You also have the mask, and this is another one that's twofold. So the energy of this card is very much removing the mask and showing your true self to the people. So if you've been like hiding from family members and friends that you're quite spiritual and that you like card readings, or that you like, deeply esoterical studies, and they're very conservative, then it's like removing that mask. You don't have to rip it off, but you are going to have to show your true self. If you've got some kind of hidden desire, like you want to be the healer, you want to be giving the readings, you want to be doing such and such, it's removing that mask and stepping up into who you want to be. It can also have a little bit of a warning to it, and it doesn't really feel hugely relevant for you, but I'm going to say it anyway. It can be a warning card to avoid fake people. If your intuition is telling you that somebody is wearing a mask and they're not showing their true colors, just be heightened awareness and just observe them. You know exactly what they're up to. You don't really want that energy in your life, and to kind of weed out the fake people. So I hope that helped. That real craving for connections, and put that effort into it to connect with spirit, connect with your higher self, and to connect with other people. Whatever comes up, that ring card is going to really help you create healthy boundaries, healthy cycles, and really breaking old sabotaging patterns as well. Oh, hi, Wendy. That's really lovely. You're beautiful. And let's pop through. My wall is a little bit slow tonight, so I hope that resonated, Blossom. I'm just going to take another sip. Do you like my owls? This is my mum's cup. She is an owl fanatic. We had to ban everyone in the family because I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and we had to ban everyone from giving her owl ornaments because it's borderline creepy. Her house now, there's just way too many owls. Oh, I'm glad it made sense, Olive, and that's perfect. Really, really good. I do get like really just deeper connections And do you get hugs? Hug people more, like actual skin touch, which I know with COVID it's a bit dodgy. But what I do is when I when I go and I'm visiting friends, I'm like, do you practice social distancing? And they're like, no. And I'm like, fuck, thank God, give me a hug. And I give them a hug. Okay. Oh, wow. So, Amber, are you still with me, Blossom? I love the owls, Angela. My mum would be ecstatic. Okay, so I drew 4 cards for you. I wanted to understand that third card a little bit more. Now, you have a card that's a little bit full on for the first one, and I don't want you to freak out. It's a good thing, but it has an interesting energy when you hold it up, so don't freak out. This is Thanatos. So here's the initiation card of death. And don't freak out, I have that in my field at the moment. And I've been drawing this card for myself the last 3 months because I'm needing to release really old patterns and fears and different things as I step up with my business. And I can't serve people to the extent that I want to if I'm playing small. So I've decided I'm going to play big so that I can be of service. When this card comes in, you go through initiation of cycle where you really have to release old patterns that are no longer serving you. You have the Queen right beside it. So it's in regards to empowerment and your sovereign self. So if you have bad relationships, childhood trauma, workplace bullying, if you've got something big that's going on, it's time your higher self, your spirit, and like everybody that loves you unconditionally is really standing up and saying it's time to go and really release and work on all of this because you're ascending into your queen. So you just stand up and go, I'm declaring this to the universe. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. Then parts of you have to die off, and it's the parts that you don't want any longer. So when I decided that I wanted to shift from just doing readings into coaching so that I can really teach people the archetypes, oh my God, all this stuff came up, and one by one, I've had to really push through all of it until I'm so solidly grounded and I've got beautiful clients and everything's flowing because I did the work. That's the energy of this card. So even though it looks creepy, and even though the energy of it is like, OF, it's also incredible. And I love it when it comes in for my field because I go, right, there's stuff inside of me that needs to go so that I can work upon myself. And I take it as a call to action. The reason that I drew a 4th card is you got the empty room and I got the vision to go with it. Now the empty room is the void space. So that tells me that as you're releasing and letting go of old programs, trauma, things that no longer really help you, yes, I'm not surprised the least bit about that. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're very visually gifted as well, Amber. So it's trusting your intuition. So yes, you're a healer, but you can also, like, say you're with the person, you just intuitively can know and see. Like, so part of the priestess archetype is, so I have the priestess archetype and I've been really working with it, is I see the future potentials for people. So when I'm working with them, I am actually working with that future self to get the person to that position because I can see it. It's a bit weird to say to people, but I'm just starting to really own it and speak up about, you know, the things that I can do. And this is very much like that. So you'll be the healer, but you'll also be the seer. You know what I mean? You'll have a psychic gift that goes with it, where you're really intuitive, like medical intuitive as well, where you actually will see the things. That empty room, this void space, when you let go of all this stuff with that initiation of death, you kind of feel empty for a little while. And some people try and fill it up with all this distraction and, I've got to get up and go. It's actually far more powerful if you just allow yourself a week to just lay there and kind of recalibrate and accept the emotions of it. Go get in the bath, go and have a walk in nature, or you just go with the flow. Don't try and fill up your clutter with all this, like with your empty room with all this clutter. Really just allow yourself to go through the death and rebirth phase. The vision is going to be really important for you. It's manifestation and it's holding the vision of where you want to be. So basically, this is a massive call to action. You can no longer dilly-dally around. You have to step up as the healer. And I'll be really honest, when this card comes into somebody's field, they just don't really have a choice. And I used to laugh. There's a lovely lady in my group, and we both had it at the same time, and we said we're Thanatos buddies. And you know what? She has gone through the most epic shift at the same time as me, and she's stepping up with her jewelry business. So you can't actually stop. You can't fight it. It has to happen. And if you embrace it, it happens far more quickly. You're talking weeks to months than fighting it for a year. If you want to, you can fight it for 8 years, but you're going to be miserable for 8 years until you step up and be that healer. So yeah, it's a really strong just do it. It's time. And it really is, it's quite potent, very transformative. I have a group, Courageous Sovereign Woman. I changed the name of it recently, and the link is in the description. And I actually think it'd be good if you joined the group, and they're a lovely bunch of women that all supported with the journey. Things happen, and I do different teachings with archetypes. I do different online courses and all kinds of stuff that's in there. I usually do a healing every Monday morning, but I'll do that on a Tuesday because I've got this 3-day event. So it's actually, I just feel like, you know, if you're needing the support, they're a beautiful bunch of women, and they're just awesome, and they're all going through such transformation, and it's a pleasure to really help them. My priestess gets such soul joy out of helping all these amazing women. Cody said, hello again. I find listening resonates. Your vibe, your voice, very nurturing and calm. So peaceful. It's such a beautiful journey, such a key of bringing ourselves into alignment, learning yet welcome a soul to this life. Oh, that's really beautiful. You know, we have just the nicest, most beautiful people that come on this page. You know, absolutely gorgeous. I'm smudging a lot today. It's been a very interesting day. Okay, so wonderful. Kaish, am I saying that right? Kaish? Kaish. Yeah, I'm actually really excited for you, Amber. I know that there's hard work, but I really feel that you're on that, you know, really willing to step up and start doing it. And I always love that. I really, really do. Oh, it's supposed to have a Kaesha. Aha. Oh, darling, you've got a very interesting reading. I think you have a fear of being judged. So you have the judge, the sword, and the mystic. So I'm actually going to read yours in reverse, a bit odd. So with that mystic energy, the mystic is wanting to step up into esoterical knowledge and study. So anything that is in the realms of healing, spiritual learning. So even a nurse or a teacher, they're still healers and teachers. They have a purpose. But if the mystic comes into the field, they want to have a deeper understanding and do it in an alternative way, if that makes sense. It's people who do card readings. If you know, like when the mystic's in my field, weird things happen. I go on these bouts of reading Pythagoras, and one day I'm going along and I'm just like, you must read about St. Pedro Pio, the saint in the 1940s who had the stigmatas and stuff like that. And off I go and I read this entire book about him. And then a few months later, all this stuff happens and it makes perfect sense of why I did it. And that's the mystic. You just have these weird tangents and you go off and you're like reading all this stuff. The reason I started with the mystic is because you have the judge and you have the sword. So the judge is either you're judging yourself because you're wanting to learn something, or you are fearing that family members and friends and people you know are going to judge you for wanting to be different, and you know, that the secret spiritual desire or something that you're not telling them. And the sword is absolute swift decisions. It's cutting straight to the chase. It's cutting to the truth. So you have to actually cut to the truth of the matter. You can't hold back on the mystic archetype and your pursuit of knowledge because you're afraid of what people are going to think of you, or you're afraid like you're judging yourself. Oh, I'm not worthy to do this. Who am I to do this? That's the prostitute archetype just holding you back, right? You're more than worthy to do anything. We all are. I'm doing a training next week in my group called the 3 Ps, which is the perfectionist, the procrastinator, and the prostitute archetypes. And they're just huge in everybody's field at the moment. And as I've been saying, it's no longer time to play small. Oh, it's so true. You're a tarot reader. Then how can you be a bigger and better tarot reader? How can you reach more people? How can you be of service? That's where things are shifting. I can name probably about 100 people who are being so pushed to just get out of their comfort zones and ascend into their purpose. And it's full on for people, because as a collective energy, the 100 monkey thing, all of us are just getting so pushed and pushed and pushed, and we don't really have too much of a choice because shit goes wrong if you don't really, once you reach a certain level of awareness of energy and the universal laws, if you start to ignore your intuition, you know how important your intuition is, it gets way worse for you. If you're completely unaware of what intuition is, you can go merrily along doing whatever you want. But once you know better, you can't unlearn it, and that's when things get a little bit fugly. So it's really interesting. You need to really step up and do more. If you're wanting to, you can come into my group as well, Blossom. I have ladies who practice doing lives and all kinds of stuff. You've just got to actually ask for help. And I usually come up with all kinds of ideas. I did, it was either last week or the week before, I did a content challenge because people were like, I don't know what to write or say about myself. And I'm like, well, I'll fix that. And I kind of, whatever's going wrong in my group and what people are going through, I'll find an answer for you, and I'll do some training. So, you know, you're more than welcome to come into the group, and whatever fears are holding you back and whatever archetypes are holding you back, you know, more than likely I will do something or other. People just got to ask so that I can help, if that makes sense. Okie dokie. I'm glad that resonated, Blossom. Now, so I'm just going to pause for a second with the new people that have joined, and I'm just going to advise them. I've got over the next 3 days in 3 different groups. All the details and the links are in the description. So it's 3 days of nourishment and self-love, and it's actual tips and really practical, I can do this at home to help myself tips for self-love and nourishment for the mind on the first day, tomorrow, and then the body, and then the spirit on the Monday. So these are not just, oh, I'm going to go and someone's going to read, you know, out of a book. These are actual honest to God practical tips that you can do to help yourself, you know. So I'm really excited, and the 2 women I'm doing it with, they're amazing. So Tia, are you still with me, Blossom? Let's have a look. Beautiful. Okay. Yours is a very stern reading. I get sometimes this really like frown of like, come on, you know, it's time to do this, and I get this really serious energy from them, and I'm getting a very stern energy. So you have the Venom. So this is a 2-fold card, and I feel like it's actually both aspects. The Venom comes through when you have a really toxic presence in your life. Usually it's a partner, a parent, or a workplace issue. Every now and then it's a child if I'm dealing with somebody who's older, but it feels like a close person. And it may even be the workplace, I'm not 100% sure. And so really toxic and really negative, really wants to drain you, pull you back down. If you say, oh, I'm going to do this, and they're like, oh, that's never going to work. And, oh, you've tried that and failed. And so that's them. But the alter side of it, and the second part of this card is, because of the experience that you're in and the vibration of toxic people around you, you end up being really self-critical to yourself, and you can have really nasty thoughts like, I'm just going to fail, or I can't do this, I suck at this, I'm, real negative self-talk. So it can be both aspects, both toxic environment, or either toxic workplace or a toxic loved one. And then you've got the ring, which is that breaking of cycles. So if you've been trying to leave a toxic relationship, or trying to get away from a toxic parent over and over and over, or trying to leave a toxic workplace and then they keep giving you good money and you keep trying and trying, this card comes up is really breaking those cycles and setting healthy new patterns. So you replace old patterns with new ones in its time. Now you have the King card. So that usually tells me that you need to call in the divine masculine and take action for the good of all. It's not the Father card, which is divine masculine, it's the King. I must make the decision for the greater good of myself and what's best for me. And if you have children as well, for what's best for your children, so that they have, a healthy and a safe environment. The King can also represent the divine masculine lineage. So if you had any dodgy male influences when you were young, a dodgy father, dodgy teacher, dodgy priest, and they were just a shit person, then this is also time to really look at that and go, well, I'm sick of dealing with all this type of males in my life, and I'm going to stand up and do things my way, break those patterns and call in really healthy, beautiful men that are healthy representations of divine masculine and not toxic masculinity and toxic what's that word, testosterone, that toxic male ochre, narcissistic energy. Yes, I really got a sense of just over and over trying to break away, and you need to call upon, when I say the King energy, on an archetypal level, a good king who does it for the greater good, looks after his people, is noble, strong. A shadow king, petty, puts himself first, incredibly selfish, will impoverish the land and just butcher anybody to get his own way. So when it comes through for a female, it's really about stepping into that action, but you're stepping into that sovereign divine masculine energy. So it's incredibly strong. So it's not as frequent, but call upon the King archetype for that warrior energy, sovereign, and it's masculine for action. And it's going to really help you break those cycles. It's not very common for it to come through for women in this way, but it's actually really potent. And you can even imagine a sword, like King Arthur's sword, and that can be your sword of truth, and like almost like a visual totem. And when you want to go back and tell yourself, I'm going to fix this with my parent, or they try and suck up to you, and you're going to repeat the cycle over again, instead of enabling them and or becoming a codependent mess, or you forgiving them when they shouldn't be, let me just rephrase that. You can forgive someone from a place of a detachment, like they've done something awful to them and you forgive them, and then you just pull back and you have nothing to do with them. And then there's forgiveness where you then get stuck in the cycle. become codependent mess again. So I'd love for you to get to the place where you can detach completely and forgive them from afar. And that's a healthy type of forgiveness instead of getting into the repetitive cycle. So I hope that made sense. Now, smudge the cards. Perfect. I'm really glad that resonated to you. Yeah, I actually get a really strong sense from you. I think you're quite the survivor. And I really laugh sometimes when people come in, they've got that really strong survivor energy, because their higher self and their cards, it's really stern. It's almost like, come on, Tia, you know better than this. Stop doing this. And it's really, I can't really describe it. I get this frown. It's like, come on, what do you think you're doing? And it's interesting. All right, beautiful Kim. What have we got for you? Oh, the one again. This card is coming through so much over the last 2 days. Everybody is craving connection. Oh, the box. It's really quite interesting. You can find you're bursting through boxes. What's your third card, Blossom? Oh, darling. So, you know how I was talking about Thanatos before with the other lady? So you have that in your field as well. So don't want you to freak out. It's not a bad thing. So I'm going to start with the one. So the one is where you really deeply want that connection with other people, with spirit, with the land. It doesn't feel as much for humans like the other lady did. It's more of a spiritual craving. I feel like you want to have that connection with spirit, with your intuition, with your higher self, with your abilities and gifts. It's really quite beautiful. It's like you want to have that more magic in your life, synchronicities, and the feeling that you're not alone. You have the box. Now this is a really fun card, and it really speaks to so many people. So you have this beautiful little speck of light in the middle, which is you, and you're all these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of boxes. So it's where you'll feel quite different, and like people are trying to shove you in a box that just doesn't fit you. And when it's got all these hundreds of boxes, it's also a bursting out. So it's a declaration of what I'm going to burst through box after box after box. I will not be confined by other people's ideals. I will not be confined by other people's fears and doubts and other people's bullshit. I'm coming out of the box. I'm out of the closet. I am, this is me and this is what I'm wanting to do. So if that's aligned with spiritual gifts and wanting to learn and accept spiritual gifts, like this is a real working upon coming out and not being confined. This actually comes through a lot for people who have like a very conservative family, or they just feel very different. Like, how did I get born in this family? Kind of thing. Like you just feel really different, and you just don't know what to do, and you want to burst out of their perceptions of you. Can also come through when you've got like a really religious upbringing, and then you want to go and do something very alternative or pagan or something completely out of the box. I didn't even mean to say that, but it came through. Now you have Thanatos. So remember, like I was talking about before, this is the initiation card of death. but it's not something to be scared of. It's something to be embraced, because it's literally your soul saying, okay, you're craving spiritual connection, you're craving that connection with your abilities and sensing, you know, that spirit and you know, connection with everything. And in order to get that, and in order to burst through those boxes and come out as who you truly want to be, fears, doubts, old programs, sabotaging patterns, they all have to die off for you to ascend into who you want to be. Now, just like I suggested to the other lady, I am more than happy if you wanted to join my group, because I have a deep respect and love for people who go through the Thanatos energy. It's full on, but at the same time, it's so liberating, because it's literally like your soul's going, it's time, we're going to do this whether you like it or not, and you start to change. And it can be epic, it can be more gentle. Embrace the energy of it, willingly work upon your blocks, willingly face your fears, heal any traumas, and boom, box by box, open it up, heal it, push through, and really work with that. So it's sovereign, it's courageous sovereign woman. So the link is in the description. It's the third one down. Oh, good night, Wendy. You have sweet dreams, Blossom. So it's learning to trust your intuition and what comes forth. So if you're wanting to study something, learn something, step up into being the healer, the tarot reader, working with the land, shamanism, animals, trees, who knows what, you have to face whatever comes up that's blocking you from stepping up into what you're wanting to do. And I actually feel like it might be a little bit more work for yourself, because that box card, it just might be more layers. Like there might be more things and fears and doubts that might bubble up. But you can still burst through them really quickly, as long as you embrace it. You're really working with your intuition. I'm really excited for you. I get a little bit of a sense of a bit of confusion. So you might have a little bit of a confusing time of it over the next few months, because it, you know, Thanatos or any of the initiation cards, even the gentle ones, can still be quite overwhelming, because it goes through your whole life. You know, your friends, your family, your loved one, like everything that's happening. So it's really quite potent. Well, Blossoms, I've actually gone a couple minutes over time. I'm going to have to get going. I've had a lovely time. It's been really beautiful tonight. The energies have been really, really gorgeous. Lots of transformation happening, lots of connection. Now, don't forget, we have the free 3-day online event starting tomorrow morning, and the recordings in each of the groups will stay up for a full 7 days. So even if you're in a different time zone, it's too early, you can get in there and you can rewatch it at any stage. And because Ursula does that embodiment work, so she's got some breath work techniques, different yoga poses and things that are on the ground, so really gentle. Anyone who's a beginner and any kind of thing, you don't have to be a guru to do any of this. This is really practical, grounded tips to help you self-love and self-nurture. And it was really funny, because we actually planned this about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then it just happened to be a divinely perfect timing with this new moon and Mercury in retrograde going on, and just all the planetary stuff and the energies at the moment. Like, I've been hearing such really fascinating stories of some people being grumpy, some people being icky, some people just tired and go and have a nana nap for a few hours for like no reason, and all kinds of stuff has been really going on. So I really feel like it's divinely orchestrated. We are supposed to be self-love and self-nurturing ourselves to really help us through this process. So I hope to see you in there. So tomorrow's will be in Nicole's group, Sundays will be in Ursula's group, and Monday will be in my group. Then what else? Next week I'll do my healing on the Tuesday, and I've also got the 3 Ps. So I'll do some training on the perfectionist archetype, the prostitute archetype, and the procrastinator archetype. So I think people just need a little bit of help in that area. So it's actually going to be a bit of a busy week, but I need to get it all out there and start helping people. It's been such a pleasure spending my Friday night with you, and thank you all for spending your Friday night with me. It's been absolutely beautiful, and I'm sending you all so much love. Bye. Oh, you're most welcome, Amanda. I just read that, Amanda Nottle. Thank you so much. You're amazing and it helped a lot. The amazing things about archetypes, Amanda, is they speak to us even though it might not be our question. It can really resonate and it all makes sense. So it's really beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.